Welcome to ThReviews, the podcast where three brothers.
Thane?
Gaucho. Wait. I already fucked up. Let me try out that again.
Okay. Welcome to ThReviews.
Gaucho, you have to take this serious.
I forgot what it was for a second. I'm sorry. Welcome to ThReviews, the podcast where three brothers.
Thane?
Garrett.
And Gaucho.
That's us.
Anyways, we review a variety of products, feelings, experiences, and senses. Two of us know what they're reviewing. One doesn't, but he has to play along and give his honest review. Then guess what we've been reviewing at the end of the episode.
All right, so for our reviews, we have a 15-point scale. We can each reward 5 points up to a total score of 15 between the three of us. If the total score between the three of us is over 10, it's a gold-rated product. 0 to 5 is a trash product. 6 to 10 is a silver star. And again, 11 to 15 is a gold-rated product. We award 1 point for each of these things: ease of use, accessibility, aesthetics, ethics and morals, yes or no. I think because it's our first episode, do we want to go into what each of those 5 things are, or just get right into it?
Just get right into it. We can elaborate when we reach that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with that as well. Okay, then let's get right into it. I will start with my my points and my review. First, we're going to have highlights. So I'm going to give it... I'm going to start off strong. I'm going to say it gets 5 points for me. I think it checks all the boxes. And yeah, it's easy to use. It's really accessible, especially for me. The aesthetics, for those of you keeping track at home, that's 3. The ethics and the morals of it, I also think are it hits that for sure. And then yes or no, I think yes.
Wow.
And I think part of why it gets all 5 for me is that I got it for free. I was gifted it, and it's just been something that I've used very consistently for the whole time that I've had it, and it's withstood a lot of beatings. It's taken a lot of drops and falls, and I've really, it's come in handy quite a bit, and I haven't had to replace anything on it. So yeah, that's 5 for me. What about you, Garrett?
5 out of 5. That's call me Bob Saget, because that's a full house. Are
we trying out catchphrases?
Yeah, I didn't have to just Google the cast of Full House to make that pun work. I would give it a 3. And this is kind of a weird stance to take on this, but I would say ease of use. No, I don't think it takes the point for that one. I think it is more cumbersome than it needs to be. It could be more ergonomic. It could be more streamlined. And I think there's other versions that are better and easier to use. Like there's less of a learning curve with other versions of this. Accessibility, I would say, yeah, you can just acquire it. That's easy enough. It's not a super high price point. It's not hard for your average Joe to get a hold of it. Aesthetics, I would say, yeah, it's good looking. I think it's got a sleek design and is approachable visually. Ethics and morals, I'd say no. I would say that this product is. I don't really feel myself getting behind their whole attitude, their whole thing. This is where it gets a little weird. Is that yes or no? I'm still going to give it a yes. I'm ethically and morally opposed to this thing, but I'm still going to say yes. Um, because sometimes you just got to treat yourself, you know?
True.
So
Yeah.
I would say 3 out of 5 on that one.
All right.
Gaucho, what are your thoughts?
All right. I'm going 4 out of 5. And it's a little tricky to give it this 4 and not 5 out of 5, but I'll explain why when I get there. So, 1 point, ease of use. I love it. Excellent ease of use. I use it very regularly, and it is very handy, very easy to use. I do agree with Garrett. There's better versions of it, but I think I have the best version of it, and it's awesome. It's incredible. So, point for that. Accessibility. Yeah, point for that. You can get it just about anywhere. The places that have it are pretty widespread. Not a super high price point. That was a good point, Garrett. So accessibility, yeah, point. Aesthetics, I'm gonna go with absolutely a point for that. I think it is very good looking, especially mine. Very good looking, very cool. I like using it because I think I look very cool because it looks really cool. And then no point for ethics and morals. Now, this has nothing to do with the company. I don't know the manufacturers. I don't know anything about their ethics or their morals. I failed to do that part of the research. I'm saying no point because for me, it is very easy to use it ethically and morally wrong just because it's very fun to do wrong.
You use it ethically and morally, but the wrong way to use it ethically and
Well,
morally.
like, not
Like maybe
ethically.
one could say it's like you could use it unethically and immorally.
Oh, that's the words I was looking for. Yeah, unethically and immorally, or something like that. That's how I like to use it when I get the chance. But that's the only reason I'm not giving them a point on that. And then yes or no, absolute yes, because even though I use it unethically and immorally, I have a lot of fun doing so. So that's a 4 out of 5 points from the Gouchster,
The Gouchster,
or other things I've been called.
like Che Guevara. Oh, I don't think I've ever called you that to your face, though. So what does that put us at? 12 total?
Yeah,
That's
12.
into
Yeah.
the gold star rating.
That is
This
gold
is
star.
according to the three of us who are well versed and know what's going on.
According to these
This
3 views.
but that was the name of the episode.
What?
Oh,
Coming out strong. We got a strong start, gold star product. And I think that's a really good time for us to do a quick word from our sponsors.
This week's episode was brought to us by Bugles. Now, don't get excited. Don't calm down those munchies. I'm not talking about the chips. I am talking about the instrument. For those of you that are unaware, the bugle is a simple signaling brass instrument with a wide conical bore. It normally has no valves or other pitch altering devices and is thus limited to its natural harmonic notes. And pitch is controlled entirely by varying the air and embouchure, which is a word that I know how to pronounce, and it's pronounced embouchure.
Is it? What about the embouchure?
The embouchure is it's mid. I don't. Not it's not. I mean, you can't do much with the embouchure. The embouchure is usually how you vary the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Bugles are dope. I think you watch like a classic television program like MASH, and you just they're in the military camp, and then someone goes and like it signals something, and I don't think it was ever used. I don't think that it's ever been used for anything other than waking up soldiers in barracks. I am entirely confident that the bugle has never had any other uses, because that's just what it is.
I've actually been in correspondence with the people at Bugles that are sponsoring this ad, and that's correct. No one has ever used a bugle for anything other than waking up soldiers in where they are sleeping.
That's the what more could you ever want out of an instrument? And I know what
I
you might be
still may want no
thinking.
more.
I'm just reading this straight off the ad read, but I know what you must be thinking. Big Trumpet has told me not to support bugle, saying it's an inferior instrument and that the limitations of its lack of pitch altering devices built into the mechanics of how it works is makes it inferior. But I'm looking at this ad read. I don't know if they're allowed to say this, but they're paying us to do it. But it just ends with, but fuck Big Trumpet and whatever they think. So yeah, bugles. Buy them, toot them, but don't you dare do it unless there's a sleeping soldier nearby and it's 0800 hours and they need to run to the lake and back.
Thank you,
That
Bugles.
exhausts my knowledge of soldiers and what soldiers are.
You got to
But
work
yes,
out at
thank you.
0800 hours. You got to run to the lake and back, and it's going to be strenuous. There's going to be lots of rocks, but there's going to be camaraderie.
Mm-hmm. Going to be camaraderie. And how about what if there's not a lake nearby?
Then they're going to have to go far.
A while.
That's why I would only want to be a soldier if I was fighting somewhere with a lot of lakes or stationed somewhere. Like I would love a quick little workout in the morning, but like if you're in like 100 miles from a lake, that's 200 miles a day. You got to do it. Your drill sergeant blew the bugle. And that's something they don't tell you is your sergeant will be the one blowing the bugle. But that's the thing is they can only blow it if you're asleep, and so you can never see who's actually doing it because by the time you can wake up and leave the barracks, he's already done. He's hidden it.
Yep.
And that's the second activity of the day. After the lake run, you have to find the hidden bugle in the camp.
And then whoever has the bugle is the sergeant the next day.
And if you have the bugle, which this is nothing against bugle, this is more about the military industrial complex. But if you have the bugle 5 days in a row, then you get promoted, and that's how you move permanently, and that's how you move up the ranks in military service. And I think that's kind of messed up because like you have privilege, right? As the sergeant,
right?
Because you are the one
and
who
if you're
hid,
white.
because you're the one who hid the bugle. And so how are we letting them get away with the one who hides the bugle gets to find the bugle, and then if they do that 5 times, then they get to be master sergeant or something? What's after sergeant? Extra sergeant.
Well, that's when it comes down to how close the lake is, because if they're good short distance runners or if they're good long distance runners. Because if they hit it, but then they got to go run too, if they can't get back before somebody else can and finds it, and that's where it comes into play. That's where I think the military did it just right, perfectly.
Well, it's tricky because as a soldier, you want to be somewhere, and you just get to choose where you're going. So like soldiers get to pick places that they want to be, and then if you want to choose somewhere close to the lake, because then lake run, first activity of the day, quick and easy.
Yeah.
And then you have the scavenger hunt, the bugle scavenger hunt, a second activity. And so if you get a short lake run, then you also have a short amount of time to hide the bugle as a sergeant. And so it's harder to get it into a good hiding spot where no one can find it, and then you're less likely to get repeat finds. So it's tricky because you want to give them long enough time to hide it well so they can keep finding it, because it's selected at random. After the sergeant is promoted, they need a new sergeant, so it's selected at random. So you want to do a long distance, put in the work, run to the lake, do the 100 miles there, 100 miles back, uphill both ways. You want to put in that work and then give yourself plenty of time and then wait until you're randomly selected. And then boom, you have 200 miles worth of running. Like that'll take most soldiers like 10, 15 minutes. You have like 10, 15 minutes to hide this bugle anywhere at camp, and at the campsite that you're stationed at. So like easy.
Yeah.
15. You give me 15 minutes to hide a bugle from a group of like 20 to 15 men and women in the prime of their lives, I can do that.
Yeah, you should join
Easy
the
peasy.
military.
The military is it's really interesting, the inner workings of it, and these are things that I didn't know. Very big thank you to Bugles
Oh,
for that.
you know
Oh, are
what?
they saying something else?
There is like a little notation on the bottom of the ad read, and it does specifically say to not point out the flaws in the promotion system in the military. So we might have to cut some of that. If we don't end up cutting that, and you're hearing this, then it's because we won a legal battle with them, because the truth should not be hidden from the public, and we're gonna fight this.
People should know.
People should know that you
I've
only
said it.
have to successfully hide the bugle 5 times, and that's how you
Bugles.
move up.
Bugles.
How many Bugles, man?
They actually have a
Bugles.
soundbite for us to play too, so we can close the ad read out with that. Just tell me when you're ready.
Before we do that, I've got a quick question. How many times do you have to hide the bugle and find it in a full military career to become the president?
25.
Surprisingly, yeah, only 25.
Yeah, it's real quick.
25 is it?
It's
There's
pretty
very
quick.
few ranks to get up to president. It's like private, and then sergeant, and
Sergeant.
then extra sergeant, and then big sergeant, and then president.
So I will say it's not so cut and dry, because once you're big sergeant, right before vice president, or right before president, so it's vice president fits in between like authority and ranking wise. It's big sergeant is between president and vice president. But once you're a big sergeant, you still have to hide the bugle the same, but they actually take you to the salt flats, and there's no buildings. Everyone's just sleeping on the ground. So you blow the bugle, and then everyone starts running to the lake, and you just have like flat salt, like nothingness to hide it. So it's very hard. You
You're
can,
barefoot.
and you're barefoot. They do make you wear a thong. It's just part of your duty to your country, and you shouldn't question that, or read into it at all. But
Okay, what's
Thank
that
you,
soundbite to
Bugles.
play for us?
thank you, Bugles. Okay, let me just cue it up, and I'm gonna click this here. That's it.
Wow, that was great. Now we're going to a segment that we call a question for you two, where we will each get to kind of gauge different things on between the three of us. So I'll ask them a question, and they in turn will ask me and each other questions. So a question for you two, Garrett and Gaucho. When was the last time that you just chucked this full bore at a coworker's head?
Ooh. I think it was 3.5 weeks ago. I really wanted to today, but I held back. So 3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Worth noting, side note, one of the only coworkers that Gaucho was in direct company with for the majority of his shift today was me.
That is good context to know.
Last time I wanted to, or last time I actually did?
The last time that you actually did.
I've been
chucking it full bore at a coworker's head could also be like the last time it fell near a coworker.
I've been pretty bad about this. I've been slacking. I haven't chucked this full bore at a coworker's head in probably over a year. So I've been lacking on that metric and need to get up to speed. Find me at lunchtime tomorrow, Gaucho. I'll I got something to talk to you about. I gotta show you something across the street, just real quick.
Off the job site.
Off the job site, yeah. Just walk over here. There's something. I saw something over here. Let me show you two. Yeah. So it's been a little bit over a year.
Okay, right on. Do I have to answer my own question? We're unclear on that.
Why don't you go ahead and answer it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Both of my questions are going to be the same one that you just asked, so you're going to have to answer it 2 more times anyways. Might as well make it 3.
You're
I
you're
checked the
asking.
rules. I'm allowed to do that. I can ask your same questions again.
I checked the rules. I looked at it. Okay, you can't keep these things from me anymore. Yeah, I can't remember the last time that I threw this at a coworker's head. I only ask the question because for work I'm a safety coordinator, and so near misses and things are a hot topic currently. And you know, throwing that at someone's head and missing would be a near miss.
You
Um,
don't want that.
although I'm not that because I'm not good at throwing things, so it would be a miss. And that's really the only reason that I haven't hit someone in the head with it is because every time I throw it, it's a little heavier than I expected. The shape is weird for throwing, so
It's no baseball.
yeah, it's no baseball.
Here's a really clever and original thread to follow. Near miss. What's up with that? If you nearly miss, didn't you hit?
That is a fun thread. I almost missed, but in fact landed.
What's the deal with near miss? Like, come on.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I gotta think about that.
Yeah. I didn't come up with the reporting process or to what to call it for our work thing, so we call it near misses, and I agree. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you doing both questions, or should we pass it around?
No, it's just one question, right?
I only had one question.
It's a question for you two.
Oh, let me ask the 2 of you one question.
Yes.
2, 1. So 3 questions total. My one question is, what is your guys' preferred method of storing for this product? Where do you keep it? And like on your nightstand, do you keep it in the center console of your car? Is it like everywhere you go? Is it do you keep it in a box tucked away in a closet? Like how on demand is it?
I'll start.
Yeah.
So it depends on where I am. So if I'm at work, generally I will keep that on me in my pocket, just around me anywhere that I'm working. I will keep it right there in my close vicinity. If I'm not working, sometimes I'll bring it into my room. I'll keep it around me in my room at night. But usually I'll keep it in a box in the back of the van.
I have really only brought mine home, I want to say like 3 or so times. More often than not, I leave it in a special place at the shop at work. And then and that is either the top bag of my, the pack out, or if I'm feeling a little bit more organized, I will kind of separate them and I'll put it in the bottom section of it. So it's either in the top bag, which is the most common place to find it. It is in the base of the pack out, or very rarely is it brought home for like things I need to do around the house.
I typically keep mine in the mini fridge directly next to my bed. I like I like when the metal is cold and it just feels comforting in my warm hand, and kind of use it like if like a coworker throws theirs at my head, it's already nice and chilled to touch it to the sore spot.
Oh,
But
like a dual purpose.
yeah, it kind of works as like an ice pack or the product that it is. But other than that, if I'm at the house. If I'm away from the house, it's just in my pocket.
Nice, right on.
Excuse me. Choked on my water a little bit because I don't know how to drink water.
It's tough. I usually drink my water through a bugle. Thank you, bugle.
Thank you, bugle. My question for you two less fine than me, gentlemen, is on a scale of 1 to 5 work days. We work a 5-day work week, right? Or Thane, do you work a 5-day work week?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
unless I have a day off.
Oh, okay. So on a scale of 1 to 5 work day week, how many days in that 5 days do you find yourself using this? And is that pretty consistent week to week?
I'll answer this backwards. Wait, I was no. So it is consistent, but it is consistently low now, or lower now than it was before. So now, with my recent promotion and new position, I don't use it
Because you successfully hit the bugle 5 times.
because I successfully hit the bugle 5 times. But before, in my previous position, I would use it almost every single day. It was something that I would probably 4 out of 5 days consistently I would use.
All right, cool.
I would say I use it probably on average 3 out of 5 days. It's always handy to have it immediately ready when you need it, but I would say 3 out of 5.
I didn't actually think about how to answer my own question. I think 3 to 4, depending. No, 4 to 5, depending. But I pretty consistently will use this almost every single day at work for a whole bunch of reasons. There's so many applications.
It can do like one thing, but it can do it a lot of different ways.
It most certainly can. Good questions,
Good questions, boys.
boy.
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 Go on now, get.
Okay, so we'll just kind of re-review our number ratings that we gave it. I gave it 5 out of 5. I'm going to actually amend that. I've decided to also change the rules, and I can do that. I can
Whoa.
change what I've rated it.
Whoa.
He can because of the bugle 5 times. Come on.
I found the bugle this week, so I get to change a rule in our podcast. And my rule that I've changed is I can amend my rating. I am going to dock a point for
Ethics and
ease
morals.
of use, for ethics and morals, for ease of use, primarily because Gaucho brought up there are better ones, and I don't have one of the better ones. Ultimately, this takes the grand total score from a 12 to an 11, and it doesn't matter, but I wanted my opinion to be shared.
Well,
You have to know.
It could matter because if that's the rule that you can change your rating, then we could change our ratings, right?
No.
Oh man.
You can.
You've only found the bugle 4 times in a row. So let's secure that 5th time, and then you can switch the rules all you want.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so I now give it 4. Do we want to amend any other ratings before we lock it in?
I don't actually feel bad about using it unethically or immorally anymore. Talking about this, I don't feel bad anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it that point. So it's back up to a 12.
Wait, this is important clarification. You don't feel bad about using it unethically, or you no longer view it as unethical?
That is a very important distinction.
Like, you have gotten rid of the remorse you had about the ethical nature of this, or you've changed your stance?
I've gotten rid of the remorse. I don't feel bad anymore. Because they deserved it.
Yeah.
Animal testing.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
If an animal can use it, humans can use it.
No, I test it on animals.
Oh.
I don't feel. Look, she's happy.
Oh, look at that.
The cat's happy.
I don't feel bad.
You got the little cat Andre. She's fine. She's breathing.
Yeah. If she hasn't died yet, then I think it's okay.
Okay, so now we're back up to 12. Garrett, do you have any amendments?
I would say I wish I could add another point for aesthetics because it's just so good looking. The color scheme, come on.
That's so true.
The uniformity, the matchiness.
Point.
Ethics and morals, I think it's unethical and immoral, and I do have remorse. but I will continue using it. Yes or no, it's still a yes. I think ease of use, pretty easy to use. Nope, I failed it on that one. It's not that easy to use. It's difficult. They can make it easier. All I'm saying is I can imagine 10, 15 different ways to make a better version of this. I'm no engineer. I haven't gone to school or I haven't gotten proper education for things like this. But give me 10 minutes and I can come up with a better, more efficient, practical design.
Wow. Strong words. You heard it here first.
9 minutes even. And fucking 8 minutes. I don't care.
Dude, put him in a speed ring 20 miles from a lake.
I'm like Tony Stark in the cave. I'll just make it happen. Or I'm like Tony Stark in Iron Man 2 in the garage. Like I can just make it happen. Or I'm like Tony Stark in Avengers. Like I can just make that happen. Not the third one.
No, he doesn't do
like
it well in the third one. Not like the no. All right. So did you change your score, or are we still locked in at 12?
Yeah, I'm locked in at just my 3 points.
Okay, awesome. This remains 12 points. That's fantastic. I love it. That's awesome. Wow. What other words can you say?
Bonanza!
Fantastic. Good word.
Awooga!
So now we come to the part of our episode where we reveal the person who didn't know what we were reviewing. This week,
it was Gaucho.
Was it me?
Or was it Gaucho? Who was it?
This week,
I think we were all faking.
Were we all faking? We all just picked something.
Yeah. I was supposed to notify the 2 people who knew, and I forgot to do that.
Oh. Fucked it up right off the bat. Okay, then we will just scrap this episode and we'll never release it to the public.
There was some good stuff in there.
Yeah, maybe we'll chop it up for sound bites. What do you think?
I like it.
This week's episode, the person who didn't know was, and we'll do a little drum roll. Garrett.
Hi.
He did not know.
I don't know. I did know.
Garrett, what do you think we were reviewing?
It was the Milwaukee Impact drill.
It.
Damn, dude. All right.
Yeah?
That's it.
You got it.
My first impulse was I had an inkling that it was a tool, and I assumed it was the razor blade, the box cutter that I know both of you have. Because you have the same one. But then something, and you both have it on me. I think the only thing that set me off from the drill or the blade was that Gaucho tested on Andre the cat.
Oh,
and you could take a drill to the cat because what's gonna happen? But I know you would never take a blade to the cat.
Yeah, and I love her too much.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that was a good giveaway. I didn't even think that you would. I figured you'd pick up on it being a tool, but I wasn't sure what tool you would go to. But that's a good distinction right there.
Yeah, nicely done. And then I guess the podcast just kind of ends.